Some of you guys, it's been a while since you've seen this. The top 10 questions you must ask any agent before you list your home. You should ask these questions over the phone. Why? Because I don't want them to sit down with a bunch of agents and start getting agents like Stephanie that they just like and aren't, I don't even want them to meet those people, because they're so likable. Before you agree to meet with the agent, I want you to ask these questions. So that's just another strategy. Welcome to the Success with Listings podcast, where we help you get success in the real estate game the easy way. Now you can get off the roller coaster of feast and famine and out of the rat race of competing with every other agent in town. Hi, I'm Knolly Williams. I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in the real estate game, and in this podcast, I show you how to have success with listings. Let's go. Today, we're going to go into the fourth one, which is absolutely fire. And this is one that I get a little bit of questions about, uh, especially for agents that are newer. But let's take our time. Let's go through this. What's this thing tell me? I need more. They're trying to sell me more storage. I don't want more storage. Paul's going to go in and clean up the storage, and then we don't have to buy nothing, right, Paul? All right. So let me close out this. It's giving me my okay. So top 10 questions you must ask any agent before you list your home. Now, let me share with you how I use this document. This is powerful. So somebody calls me, they say, hey, Nolly, I want you to sell my house, or I'm thinking about selling, or whatever as the conversation goes. You guys know that through the textbook, I have sort of that conversation. And at some point, if I feel like they're interviewing agents, they might say something like, well, we're interviewing agents. Oh, you're one of those. Okay. Because remember, 30% of sellers will interview more than one agent, 70% will interview just one agent. The thing is that you may never get that call if you don't have all your ducks in a row, which is what we're doing with this series, helping you get your ducks in a row. Okay. So I say, well, Stephanie, how many agents are you considering interviewing for the job of selling your house? And usually they'll tell me how many? Three. That's usually what they'll tell me if they're interviewing agents. Now, most of the time when somebody's interviewing agents, they've had a bad experience before with an agent, or they felt like there was something lacking, or they felt like, or they're expired. Their home expired, it failed to sell. Now they're interviewing agents for the job of selling their home. Okay. I had one lady tell me, she said, I said, well, I forget her name. I said, Claire, I said, hey, how many agents are you considering interviewing for the job of selling your home? She says, well, I got 14 listed down here. Now, this is Carol's kind of person. This is the high C type personality. She had 14 agents. And I was like, oh my God, how many of you would want to sit down with 14 independent interviews? No, I mean, who would do that? But she was so determined that she was going to get it right this time that she had written down, and I was one of the 14. So I said, hey, Claire, I said, it's great that you have 14 agents. I had to mute myself for a while. Oh my goodness. Because most of the time I was ready for the three, you know. Every now and then I get four, but I never heard 14. And so I said, what specific criteria are you utilizing to make sure that you get the right agent this time around? She said, well, I want to make sure they know how to price it right. I said, okay, price it right. That's good. I want to make sure they're experienced. Experience, okay. And then she named like two other things. I said, that's a great list. So I've written down four things. Let me repeat those to you. You said you're going to look for an agent that can do this, this, and this. Is that correct? Yeah. I said, is there anything else? Well, I can't think of anything else. I said, listen, Claire, I think it's a great starter list. That's exactly how I talked to her. I said, I think it's a great starter list. But Claire, there's actually 10 questions that you should be asking any agent before you ever meet with them. In fact, before you even invite them in the front door, these are the questions you should be asking them. And I happen to know what those 10 questions are, Claire, because I work with real estate agents I mean, I work with them every day. That's what I do. Okay. Would it be helpful if I sent you a list of the 10 questions? Now, what do y'all think Claire said? Yes. Yeah, I want that list. Okay. Because now that's called an IOV. Remember, I taught you that. It's an item of value. So now I have something that she doesn't have. She has 4 questions that are all rookie amateur questions, and I've got the top 10 questions. She's like, "Yeah, I want that list." So now automatically by the fact that I have provided her a PDF document that is helpful to her, I've already gotten the upper. How many other agents do you think provided her with a list of the questions to ask? None. Okay. Because most of them don't even know. Okay. So I sent her the PDF via email. And then she says, so then I called her like the next day or day or two later to set up the appointment. We got the appointment set up. You know how many she eliminated just with this one document? How many agents she eliminated? 12. Okay. She said, Nolly, I got it down to two, you and one other agent. Okay. So it was me and one other agent, and I got the listing. So I just eliminated all the competition from one document. Let me show you how I do it. So, and I know some of you guys are already trying to, you high Ds are already reading through the document already. Like, what does it say? Some of you guys, it's been a while since you've seen this. The top 10 questions you must ask any agent before you list your home. You should ask these questions over the phone. Why? Because I don't want them to sit down with a bunch of agents and start getting agents like Stephanie that they just like and aren't, I don't even want them to meet those people, because they're so likable. Before you agree to meet with the agent, I want you to ask these questions. So that's just another strategy. Um, so here's the questions. And by the way, um, the top 10 questions are whose questions? Let me see if I can see you guys. Whose questions are those? Who came up with that list of questions? I did. It's nothing scientific, guys. Okay. I came up with the 10 questions. Okay. And so what I have the question here, my answer. I have a place for them to write in the other agent's answer. Then I tell them, here's what the correct answer should be. Did agent answer with the correct answer? Yes or no? Okay. So there's 10 questions. How many of these did I get right? Did I get correct? Could y'all take a wild guess? How many did I get right? It's my quiz.
You got all of them right.
Of course, the teacher knows. I got 10 out of 10. Okay. So it's this is what we call it's rigged, right, Carol? It's a rigged test, right?
Mhm.
But you're allowed to do this kind of creativity in our profession, guys. Okay. So look at the questions I'm asking. Now, again, you can't use my answers because they may not apply to you. Okay. It may be a completely different Q&A. And people get stuck on this. They're like, well, I can't answer and so for you, it might be the top 7 questions, might be the top 5. It doesn't matter. It's just a good practice to have some item of value that they use during the interview process if they're going to interview more than one agent. So here's the questions. What percentage of asking price do you average in your listings? For me, it's 98.4%. So I say should be at least 96% or more. Now, most agents don't even know the answer to that question. So if they're on the phone with an agent, they're not going to tell them that, they're using Nolly's quiz. They're just going to say, hey, I got a couple questions for you. What percentage of the asking price do you normally get? They're going to be like, I have to get back with you on that. I don't know. It's pretty good. Okay. They're going to check no. Boom. What's the average number of days it takes you to sell a home? 32 days or less. That's my average days. Okay. And I say correct answer should be 40 days or less. Most agents don't know the answer to that question. So when they blindside them with that, now if you sold one home, could you answer both of these questions of the quiz? If you sold one home, yes. Okay. Because what percentage of asking price, just go, do you average? Well, you only sold one, so that's your average. All right. What's the average number of days? How long did it take you to sell that one? Okay. Are you a real estate broker? Now, this is where I really start to put the boxing gloves on. Are you a real estate broker or just an agent? And this is, I'm telling you, this is a 100% of the time what happens. First of all, agents don't know the answer to the first 2 questions when they ask because they don't send this questionnaire to the other agent. I say ask these questions, don't send them the questionnaire, okay? Don't and I coach them a little bit. I say Just ask them these questions over the phone. Don't send them this document. Please do not do that because they're going to lie. Okay. They're going to lie to get the deal. You know, it's like going for a job application. You know, you want to look best. Just ask them the questions. Does that make sense to you? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, great. This is how you use this document. The third question, are you a real estate agent or are you a broker or just an agent? You know what most agents say? I'm just an agent. That's exactly how they answer it. Okay. Now I happen to be a broker. I got my broker's license in 2008. So since I am a broker, I use it to my advantage. Okay. Um, were you formerly a teacher? Do you have experience in teaching? Yes or no? I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can change this up, right? And what do I say? Should be a broker. Of course, I'm going to say that. It takes 900 classroom hours. Da 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 da. It's the PhD of real estate. Is agent a broker? That loses most of them right away. Now, um, if I were an agent, I would. How would I change that? I would say, "Oh, you're interviewing with Knolly Williams. Well, you know he's got 250 agents, right? You really think he's going to have time to work on your deal? He's got 250 agents. I know he's got 250 agents. I saw it on Facebook. Okay. I don't have any agents under me. Okay. I am only going to work for you. Now he's a busy guy. He writes books. He's teaching classes. I just saw the other day he was going on vacation. The guy just came back from Puerto Rico. How is he going to be able to sell your house? Okay. So now I'm being mean. Okay. I'm being mean, but I'm just saying that you can play the game either way. Okay. So, do you have a team or do you work alone? How big is your team? Now, if I don't have a team, I'm going to say you should be working with a solo agent because agents with teams are going to send one of their team members. They're not going to personally. I'm going to give you my personal time and attention, but if you sign with me, okay. But since I have a team, I make it the other way. Nolly has a team of 9 members to serve you. Should be a team of 5 or more members. Does agent run a team of 5 or more members? So, and most of them will say, no, I don't really have a team, or yeah, I have 3 people, whatever. So boom, they got no again. All right. Now, I have a video that I did that's called it's every agent has a team. Every agent. So literally you have a team right now. You have a mortgage broker, you probably have an attorney, you probably have a handyman, you probably have a broker that's over you, like a licensed broker. You probably have a title company that you prefer. That's already 5 people. So you already have a team. But it's just how you articulate that to your client, you're probably not doing it the right way. So I have a training where I explain to you how to do that. What percentage of your sales are listings? 96% listings. Okay. Now, if I'm 50-50, I would say, look, why would you want to work with somebody that's 96% listings when I'm 50-50? I actually know when's the last time Nolly actually worked with a buyer? Oh, he's working with one right now. Well, ask him when he worked with one before that, probably a year ago. He doesn't even know what challenges buyers are going through right now. There's a lot of challenges that are on this market right now. And the fact that I work 50% buyers, guess what? I know what buyers are going through right now. Nolly doesn't have a clue. He doesn't even focus on buyers. But because I work both buyers and sellers, I actually can work harder for you. Da, 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 da. See, you guys understand how I'm saying this. It could go either way. So I don't do 96% listings, so I can't really do a quiz. It doesn't matter what you do, okay? It just matters that you have a document like this. So I said should be 80% or more listings. Most agents are going to tell them, well, I do 50-50. I do a little bit of both. Is it the seller doesn't know. So they're just going to say, well, he answered no to that. How many homes did you sell last year? Okay. Now my numbers are actually higher now that I have a group of agents. I can put bigger numbers. Our agents sold over 1,000 homes last year, but I don't. But I just throw it 153. Should be 100 or more. Now, how many agents are going to be able to compete with that? Okay, and that could be your team, your upline. How many homes did your organization sell last year, or did your team sell last year? You could phrase it that way. Um, do you work real estate full time or do you work another job? That's a hard one for some people. Okay. I put full time in capital letters, right? Should be full time. Now, I'm not hating on my part time agents. I'm just going to use, I'm just going to use them to my advantage in this quiz if I have to. 8, can you show me your marketing plan for my home? Yes, we have an unbeatable plan for getting your home sold. Agent should have a comprehensive marketing plan. Does agent have a comprehensive marketing plan for your home? Yes or no? How long have you been in business? Now, this is going to be a tough one for a lot of people because I've been in business but again, if you have been, I didn't say what business you were in. Did I? Did I say that? I said, how long have you been in business? Now, when I first started in real estate, now I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 12. Okay. That's why I tell people I have over 40 years of when you're listening to Uncle Nolan, you're like, man, how's this guy? How old is this dude? Like, I'm 55, but I have a lot of old wisdom because I study a lot and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old. So I've got over 40 years of business acumen, okay, under my belt. And so when I was 12, I subscribed to a magazine called um, Small Business Opportunities. Oh, it was my favorite magazine. And all the other kids they had like Tiger Beat and Right On magazine, all that stuff. I'm looking at, franchises and how do they operate? And what could I buy? And I ended up buying several. And mostly just giving my money away. But I was learning. Okay. So when I first got into real estate, I had a company that I had grown for 10 years. So I said, hey, I've been in business for 10 years in sales and marketing. But it's no different. Okay. Miss Carol, you've been a teacher for how long you've been one. This is no different than that. Okay. How long have you been helping people achieve their dreams? Okay. Then you put how many years that has been. Okay. You guys understand this? This is about being well, I can't say I've been in business that long. Do you have a mind? Does your brain hello, is anybody home here? Okay. So you put it the way that it works for you. Okay. And then my last question, have you been ranked as one of Austin's top 7 agents by Austin Business Journal? Okay, most people couldn't say yes, I could, so I put that. Okay. So final score, Nolly's number of correct answers, 10. This is so silly, but I'm telling you, sellers, they love it. They love this thing. Other agents' number of correct answers, it's usually going to be 5 or 6, or 4 or 8, whatever. Instructions. The sale of your home is the largest financial transaction of your life. This interview will help you avoid choosing the wrong agent. Before agreeing to meet with an agent, simply let them know you have a few questions you'd like to ask them before agreeing to meet. Then ask these questions, write down their answers, and add up their score of correct answers. Okay. This is devastating. Okay. This is one of my trade secrets. It's a devastating document for most agents because it they have a zero chance of survival. Okay, after having the seller go through this, they're done. Okay, and so this is the kind of ammunition that I'm talking about. That when you have it, it just it decimates the competition. It's powerful. How many of you guys can see how powerful this can be used if you have the right questions and answers and you tailor them to you? Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Success with Listings podcast. If you are serious about taking your real estate career to the highest heights, making more money and helping more clients while working less hours and spending more time with your family, be sure to get your copy of my free book, Triple My Listing, absolutely free at successwithlistings.com. Now, you want to be sure that you subscribe to the podcast and check out successwithlistings.com to get your copy of my free book. Hey, I'll see you on the next one.